Welcome back to DC Silver Age Storytime. Today we have more fun number 57 from July 1940, and this is The Return of Zor. So a scientist is working in his lab. While at work at his laboratory, the world-renowned scientist Professor Dale Eriks is astonished to find his instruments behaving strangely. So he hears a voice through his instrument. "Listen to me, Professor. I am speaking to you from the depths of infinity. Do as I say, and you shall receive the ultimate reward." This is most amazing. Yes, I'll do it directly. So he does what the voice says and disappears and is hurtled into space and comes upon Zor. "Though I cannot move, my mind is active. Right now I am broadcasting my thoughts to you via mental telepathy. Turn off that switch." So when last we saw, Spectre had left Zor trapped in a paralysis ray. And so he has convinced this guy to free him. And he uses the ray on the scientist. I don't know. I mean, I figure he could just kill the scientist, but I guess he's just extra cruel. "Every second, every hour that I was imprisoned, but one thought pounded at my throbbing consciousness. Revenge upon Jim Corrigan, alias the Spectre, and now I am ready to act." So he flies and comes across Sergeant Dexter. That horrible face, I must be imagining things, and he uses his eyes to kill the guy. Then he convinces... I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, I get a little confused. "Wayne, this is Dexter. Come to my house at once. It's important." So he comes there, finds Zor, and Zor says, "Look into my eyes, look deep," and shows him or convinces him that it was Jim Corrigan who killed Dexter. So now he believes it. He doesn't want to believe it, but comes across Jim and says, "You're under arrest." He hates to do it. So Jim Corrigan changes into the Spectre, which is now a different kind. Rather than split off, he's now changed into the Spectre. So I think Jerry Siegel is still trying to figure out exactly how his character is supposed to operate. But he comes across Zor, and he is angry that he's attempting to pin a murder on him. This just seems like mundane stuff for a creature that can grow to the size of solar system. But they start throwing stars at each other, or I guess comets. And the Spectre seems to be defeated, and off runs Zor. Hee. "There's no limit to the foul villainy Zor is capable of perpetrating. I've got to overcome him some way, or the world is faced with disaster." So a execution is occurring, and the man is being hung. As he falls down, suddenly his body stops. The rope unties, and he flies through the air to Zor, and Zor makes an offer to him that he can't refuse. So the guy, I don't know why he requires this, but he sends the guy out to kidnap poor Clarice Winston, the lovelorn ex-fiancée of Jim Corrigan, and he carries her off. Clarice in danger again. Like an old-time villain, he ties her to a piece of wood, and she is sent down a river towards a waterfall. "Push it over, Pedro. I do as you command." Hopefully that big hunk of wood doesn't just flip over and drown her. So the Spectre's a little bit flummoxed. "Zor is about to take the life of an innocent girl. Can you help me save her?" "What is it, Jim Corrigan?" So they say, "Use Ectobane." Oh, Ectobane. Why didn't I think of that? So he goes flying to Lugania, where the mystic tree Ectobane grows, and uses the wood to create a casket. The Spectre descending with, "A gift for you, Zor. Ah, I see that you stand rigid and helpless as the Ectobane overpowers you." And poor Clarice is going over the waterfall, but he causes the waterfall to flow backwards and then changes poor Pedro into a tree and places Zor into a casket. "Why, I'm home. I guess it was all a dream." "It's best that you continue to think it was a dream." And still later, the Spectre, again assuming his identity of Jim Corrigan, erases Zor's influence from Wayne's mind. What a headache. I can't remember a thing that happened. I came into a thing after I came into the room, or before. That is strange. But there's one thing I can never forget. My mission to remain earthbound until all evil has been stamped off this earth. I thought it was all crime. Now it's all evil. I'm not sure how he would. It's like saying, tasking someone with drinking the Atlantic Ocean one glass at a time. I don't know how he could possibly do that, particularly since he's just stopping. I mean, Zor seems to be very powerful, but usually he's just stopping petty criminals. But Zor does return, but never in the Golden. I don't believe he ever returns in the Golden Age. But some of the comics for All-Star Squadron had him return for one panel in which it was shown that the Spectre had grown far more powerful than him, so he was no match. He also returned in the Seven Soldiers of Victory by I can't think of his name, but the one that came out in the 2000s, and I'm drawing a blank on the Morrison, Grant Morrison. So anyway, that is the return of Zor in More Fun 57.